the State of Israel, Hamas and also the third-party mediators have denied reports of any imminent truce in the Gaza Strip. Now, hopes of a potential limited ceasefire were strengthened after the American President Joe Biden claimed, or rather hoped, that a deal could be reached by as early as next week. In an interview to the NBC, which is an American media network, Biden said that he hopes that the State of Israel agrees to halt fighting in Gaza for the Muslim holy month of Ramadan that starts from the 10th of March. But officials from Israel, Hamas and Qatar have now suggested there are still key differences that remain for an agreement to happen. Media reports have even said that Israel is surprised that Joe Biden even specified a date and used the word ceasefire for what is likely to happen. The top Hamas officials also told media organizations that the group was unaware of any ceasefire agreement that could be brokered by next Monday. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken spoke to his counterparts from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. And according to the U.S. State Department, Blinken has emphasized Washington's dedication to broker peace and to create an independent Palestinian state. Qatar, which along with the United States is a key mediator, has added caution, hinting at a different timeline than what Biden suggested. A Qatari foreign ministry spokesperson has said that they don't have an agreement so far. Meanwhile, the United Nations has said that over 576,000 people, almost about a quarter of the population in the Gaza Strip, are just a step away from starvation. A senior United Nations aid official has said that widespread famine could be almost inevitable without urgent action in terms of humanitarian aid for the people who are caught up in this catastrophe. From across the border, Jordan's Air Force dropped aid into the devastated Gaza Strip. King Abdullah said that humanitarian aid must be doubled to prevent a hunger crisis affecting over 2 million people. And this is the irony. The humanitarian aid, when it was dropped in the ocean. And the desperate Palestinians had to use tiny boats and other dinghies to row to the place where the humanitarian aid had been dropped in the water to collect it. 4 C-130 aircraft, one belonging to the French armed forces, carried out the airdrops. Jordan is urging its Western allies to lobby with the State of Israel to increase the amount of humanitarian aid that is allowed to be given to the Palestinian people. The flow of aid entering from Gaza from Egypt has declined dramatically in the past few weeks. Israel maintains that it is not blocking aid. It has instead blamed the United Nations and the Palestinian people for any delays. But the fact is, it is the State of Israel that has imposed the blockade on the Gaza Strip. And to give us more perspective in terms of what the situation is like at this moment at the Gaza Strip, we're being joined by Mr. Tommaso Della Longa, who is the spokesperson and manager of the media unit of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. He's joining us live from Geneva. Now, Mr. Della Longa, let me actually begin by asking you this. The United Nations has described the conditions in the Gaza Strip as Palestinians being just one step away from starvation. Tell us about the humanitarian aid that is being allowed into the Gaza Strip and what is the quantum of it and what more is required?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me today. Well, I can just echo what you just reported. I mean, the quotes from United Nations colleagues. I would say that the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is beyond desperate and catastrophic. And the level of hunger that we are seeing, I mean, that our colleagues of Palestine Red Crescent who are in Gaza are telling us, it's really distressing, it's really concerning. We're talking about hundred thousands of people that, I would say millions of people, we're talking about 2.2 million civilians in the Gaza Strip who are really struggling to get any basics in terms of food, in terms of water, in terms of health support. And of course, I don't want to underestimate the importance of having some humanitarian aid still entering in the Gaza Strip, but this is still less than a drop in the ocean. And the immense needs are growing every single day. and there is a lack of humanitarian aid. So the request here is really to have safe and uninterrupted access in the whole Gaza Strip, but also to have an increased and continuous flow of humanitarian aid entering the Gaza Strip.
Now, as being part of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent, tell us, why is it so hard to get aid into the Gaza Strip, considering that there are 2 million plus Palestinians who are in dire need of humanitarian aid? What is stopping the international aid agencies from going in and providing aid to the Palestinian people?
Humanitarian organizations like the Red Cross and Crescent Network, but as all the others, need agreement between parties and political will to get access everywhere in the world, I would say, not only in this case. So here, again, I don't want to underestimate that there is this agreement of having the Rafah border with Egypt, but also the Kerem Shalom border with Israel open to some humanitarian aid. But, there is a process that is very complicated in terms of security to get aid in. And then there is a problem of infrastructure. Once trucks are arriving on the Palestinian side, mainly there is no logistics. People are literally emptying the trucks with their own hands. And then there is a huge issue in terms of safety. And without safety, there is no humanitarian operation. A situation where there are heavy shelling and bombing also in the Rafah area, Khan Yunis area, all around Gaza Strip. It's very difficult even to plan distribution or to move all around. So this is why safe and uninterrupted access is so critical, but also a diplomatic effort and a political will to get more aid inside the Gaza Strip.
And also, over the course of the last few weeks and months, we've focused on what is happening in Rafah and also the potential Israeli offensive that is likely to target Rafah in the southern part of Gaza. But in the northern part of Gaza, there are an estimated 400,000 Palestinians for whom aid has virtually not reached for months. Can you tell us what the situation in northern Gaza is like?
Northern Gaza, I would say that is a nightmare, a daily nightmare for the people who are still there. And you correctly pointed out there are hundreds of thousands of people who are still in North Gaza. But again, going back to the point that I was highlighting at the beginning, access is critical, and aid to North of Gaza is almost impossible to get there, to arrive there. So then people are not getting anything. And we're also talking about a situation where health facilities are not anymore there. Now, it's true that Palestine Red Crescent is still able to operate, I would say, emergency clinic, but it's really with the basics in the Jabalia camp, which is toward the north. But again, the needs are so immense that we need another scale of humanitarian aid, another scale of emergency response. And this can happen only when we get more access and also when we'll be able to get more humanitarian aid inside the Gaza Strip.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Tommaso Del Longo, for joining us from Geneva and getting us all those updates there.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.